Welcome back to Coinverse Hub today. We're diving deep into one of the most intriguing U.S. quarters, the 1965 Washington quarter. On the surface, it's a very common coin, but beneath that common appearance lies a story of transition, error coins, hidden value, and hundreds or even thousands of dollars waiting to be discovered. Whether you have one in your change drawer or you're hunting for a showpiece, you're going to want to stick around for this. Let's get started. Segment 1. Historical background and why 1965 matters. The Washington Quarter Series was introduced in 1932, and by 1964 the coins were still struck in 90% silver as standard circulating coinage. Wikipedia +2 Coin Week +2 in 1965, things changed dramatically. Rising silver prices made the silver content coins too costly to produce and too tempting to hoard or melt. Wikipedia +1 in response. The U.S. government, via the Coinage Act of 1965, authorized a shift to a clad composition, essentially copper-nickel outer layers bonded to a pure copper core. Bullion exchanges +1, the 1965 Washington Quarter, therefore, became the first of its series to use this new clad composition for general circulation. Coin Week +1 mint marks were also omitted for all coins from 1965 through 1967 in order to discourage hoarding and speculation during the changeover. Wikipedia +1 key specs of the 1965 quarter date. 1965 mint mark. None for business strikes. Composition: copper-nickel clad, outer, plus copper core. Weight 5.67 grams. Coin Week +1 mintage. About 1,819,717,540 pieces. Coin Week designer. The bust of George Washington remained the John Flanagan design. Coin Week. So, from a historical standpoint, this coin represents the transition era from silver to clad, and that makes it interesting for both history and collecting. Segment 2. What does it look like? What to check since the design didn't change drastically from previous issues. One needs to look for specific traits. The obverse features Washington's bust facing left, Liberty above, In God We Trust on the side, and the date, 1965, below. The reverse shows the heraldic eagle perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches. Coin Week +1, however, the big visual clue to look for are error coins, and we'll get there in a moment. Standard 1965s are common, but the ones with unusual composition or markings become very interesting. Here are things to check when you examine a 1965 quarter. Make sure the date reads 1965 and no mint mark. Look at the edge. Standard clad coins weigh 5.67 g. If you find one that weighs 6.2 g, close to old silver weight, then you might have something special. The Sun +1, look at the rim and metal color. Standard clad coins may show a copper hint in the core layer at the rim, while a genuine silver planchet is full silver color. Look for minting errors, misstrikes, off-centers, missing mint marks, which can add value, doubled dies, filled letters, etc. Some are listed in auction records. eBay +1 Segment 3. Current market value. What ordinary means for the average, circulated 1965 quarter with no significant error or high grade. The value is very modest. According to the price guides, circulated condition, every day, wear between about 30 cents and 85 cents. NGC coin +1 uncirculated, MS60 to MS64. Examples may fetch a few dollars, e.g., MS61, MS63 $5. U.S. Gold Bureau +1 at MS65 grade, you might see around $10 for the clad business strike. U.S. Gold Bureau. So, if you have a regular 1965 quarter in worn condition, it's not worth big money on its face. But, and this is the huge but, there are rare exceptions. Segment 4. The big money, rare varieties and error coins. Now, we get to the exciting part. What can make a 1965 Washington quarter worth a lot? 1. Silver planchet error coins. Because of the composition shift, it's known that a few 1965 quarters were struck on leftover 90% silver planchets or in error used silver blanks. Such coins are extremely rare and desirable. Bullion exchanges auction results. A PCGS MS62 silver planchet 1965 quarter sold $4.09, $600 in January 2023. Bullion exchanges: a PCGS MS63 silver version realized $7, 200. Bullion exchanges: these are coins that combine rarity, silver composition, plus high grade plus proper certification. Point 2. High grade clad business strikes, MS67 and higher. Even for the regular clad version, very high grades are very scarce. According to grading guides, MS67 coins are really scarce with less than 50 known. PCGS.com, for example, the value guide lists a clad 1965 in MS67 as $3.95 and MS68 up to $5, 250. U.S. Gold Bureau 3. Rare die varieties and mint errors: die, doubling, double dies, filled letters, off-center strikes, planchet errors, missing mint mark errors. These add collectability and value. For example, 1 double die FS 101 1965 Washington quarter sold $4.295 in grade 58. GreatCollections.com listings for errors on eBay show examples from $250 to over $1,000, depending on error type. eBay summary: while most 1965 quarters are common and worth their face value plus a little, the coins with silver composition or exceptional grade or significant error/variety can be worth hundreds to many thousands of dollars. Especially check: is it actually silver and not clad? What is the grade? MS65, MS68, etc. Does it have a known error/variety? Is it certified by a reputable service like Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC? Segment 5. Tips 4. Collectors/what to watch for. Here are practical takeaways if you want to hunt for one of these or check your existing coin. Use a precise scale. Standard clad 1965 quarter weighs 5.67 grams. A silver planchet error weighs 6.25 grams. The Sun +1. Examine the rim color. A full silver rim appears consistently silver. Clad may show copper core glimpses at rim if worn. Look for shine and luster. High-grade coins show sharp detail, good luster, minimal marks. Consider certification. If you suspect you have a very high-grade or error coin, having it graded may add significant value. Beware of counterfeits or misrepresented coins. Sometimes coins are marketed as silver 1965 quarter, without proper proof or weight verification. Keep realistic expectations. While the big money examples exist, they are very rare. Many coins will still only be worth a few dollars unless they meet the special criteria. Store properly. Protect high-grade coins from damage, scratches, oxidation. Use coin holders. Avoid excessive handling. Segment 6. What this means for you if you have a 1965 Washington quarter. If it's worn and typical, it's a fun piece of history and maybe worth a little above face value. But not a get-rich-quick coin that if it looks sharp and uncirculated, weigh it, inspect it. You might be sitting on something. More interesting that if it appears silver, check weight, rim color. You might have one of the rare silver planchet coins, which can be extremely valuable, that if you are buying. Decide whether you're collecting for history, appearance, or investment. Know the risk, condition, variety, certification matter greatly. If you are selling, make sure you properly describe metal composition, grade, any errors/varieties, and if certified that you list the certification number. Closing: the 1965 Washington quarter may at first seem like just a 25-cent coin, but it holds a unique place in U.S. coinage history. The end of silver coins for quarters and the start of modern clad coinage. Because of that, it has hidden depths in terms of collectible value. The vast majority of these coins are modest in value today, but the handful that meet the rare criteria can command thousands of dollars. Next time you pick up a 25-cent piece, check the date, weigh it, examine the rim. Think about what you might just be holding. Whether you're a casual collector or a serious investor, this little coin tells a big story. Today, we're diving deep into the story of the 1966 Washington quarter, a coin that might look like ordinary pocket change, but has an interesting history and even a few rare specimens that command serious money. Whether you found one in your change jar, inherited one from a loved one, or simply love coins, stick around because you might just have something more than a 25-cent piece. Point 1. The background and historical context. Let's step back in time. The coin we're talking about is part of the Washington Quarter series, which was first issued in 1932 to honor George Washington. The design features Washington's portrait on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse for the original version. Wikipedia +2 piecegs.com +2 by the mid-1960s, the U.S. was facing rising silver prices and coin hoarding. In response, the Coinage Act of 1965 was passed, which eliminated silver from the circulating quarter and dime and shifted to a copper-nickel clad composition. Wikipedia +2 specifically for the 1966 quarter is a clad coin, copper and nickel layers, rather than the earlier 90% silver quarters. It was one of the early years of the clad coinage. Wikipedia +1 also, the mintage is enormous. Over 800 million pieces for the 1966 date. As per data, the mintage for 1966 clad Philadelphia was about 821,101,500 coins. Wikipedia +1 because of this high mintage, the coin is common, meaning that in most cases it's not especially rare in general circulation. Point 2. Design and physical features. Let's talk design and specifics. Obverse features George Washington facing left, with the word liberty above, in God we trust to the left, and year 1966 beneath. Reverse, the traditional eagle design for the Washington quarters of that era, with United States of America above, $quarter below. Composition, copper-nickel clad, since silver was eliminated, meaning the coin has outer layers of nickel-copper alloy bonded to a pure copper core. This is different from the older silver versions. PCGS.com +1 because this is a clad coin with high mintage. Many circulated examples exist. Wear and tear are common. Point 3. Why some 1966 quarters can be worth more than face value now. Here's where it gets interesting. Even though most 1966 quarters are very common and worth just a little above face value, there are special conditions, errors, and grades that can make a big difference. Here are key factors. A condition/grade is circulated 1966 quarter, normal, common strike, standard condition, might only be worth about US 30 cents to US 85 cents according to one major price guide. NGC coin +1 uncirculated coins, mint state condition, will command higher premiums. One guide lists uncirculated standard coins from about US $1 to US $10 plus, depending on grade. Coin identifier +1 high-grade certified specimens, MS-67, MS-68 and above, of this date are scarce because so many coins circulated, and getting one that pristine takes a lot of luck and preservation. According to one source, a 1966 quarter graded MS-68 plus sold at auction for about US $21,000. Bold, precious metals, error variants, and special strike. Some 1966 quarters may have minting errors, double die, struck through objects, off-center strikes. These can be worth several $100s depending on severity. Bold precious metals +1, there is mention of one 1966 quarter at MS-68 plus grade reaching around US $21,000, as I said. Coin value checker +1 special mint sets, SMS, were produced in 1965 to 67 with a satin finish from the San Francisco Mint, which could also affect value. Wikipedia +1C, rarity due to survival/grade because so many 1966 quarters were made. The main rarity comes not from the year itself, but how well it has been preserved and whether any error or special strike variant applies. For example, the certifying company Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, states that MS-67 condition is scarce for the 1966 quarter. PCGS.com for current market values and what to expect. Let's break down what you might expect in terms of value today for the 1966 Washington quarter. Always remembering that values vary widely based on grade, certification, errors, and market demand. Typical circulated coin: if you have a widely circulated 1966 quarter, normal strike, lots of wear, no special features, you're likely looking at somewhere around US 30 cents to US $1. One guide lists 30 to 85 cents for circulated examples. NGC coin plus one uncirculated / mint state standard strike. If you have an uncirculated, nowhere, 1966 quarter, maybe a grade like MS60, MS63, you might expect values in the US $1 to US $10 plus range for standard strikes, non-error. Coin identifier plus one high grade or special strike / error variants if you're lucky and your coin is an MS65 plus or MS67 / 68 condition or has a recognized mint error or special finish. The value can jump significantly. Example: in 1966, Washington quarter graded MS68 plus sold at auction for US $21,000. Bold precious metals plus one some error specimens, double die, struck through, etc., might sell for several $100s depending on the severity. Bold precious metals. So what's the takeaway? Unless you have a very high grade or special variant, this coin is common and value is modest. But if you do have a top grade, certified, error, or special strike version, you might have a real gem. 5. What to check if you have one. If you pulled out a 1966 quarter and you're wondering whether it might be more than just face value, here are things to check. Condition. Look for wear on high points, Washington's hair, cheek, the eagle's wings. The less wear, the better. Luster. Original mint luster helps. Uncirculated coins retain more shine. Surface marks, scratches, bag marks, toning can affect value. Certification. If the coin is graded by PCGS, NGC, or another reputable grading company that helps verify high grade or special status. Mint mark / strike variant. Note that for 1965 to 1967, most circulation quarters were struck without mint marks. Philadelphia and Denver both struck without marks during those years because of the silver elimination transition. Wikipedia plus one errors. Look carefully for doubling of design elements, double die, missing or extra letters, off-center strikes, struck through blanks, etc. These can increase value. Compare to recent auction results. High-grade and error coins have sold for high prices. Referencing recent sales helps understand the market. 6. Why collectors might value the 1966 quarter. Why should this coin matter to collectors and viewers? It represents a transitional era. Early clad coinage after the removal of silver from standard circulating quarters. That shift in composition and policy makes the 1966 coin historically significant. Availability plus challenge. Because a vast number were minted, finding one in top grade is a challenge. And that rarity in high grade gives collectors something to hunt. Potential for surprises. While most are low value, the fact that errors and high-grade survivors exist means you never know. A coin you thought was worthless might be special. Broad audience. Beginner collectors can enjoy the coin as a good example of a modern era piece. More advanced collectors can look for high-grade or error examples. 7. Scripted call to action and closing, so that brings us toward the wrap-up. Here are your key takeaways. If you have a 1966 Washington quarter, check its condition. In most cases, you're looking at a modest value, slightly above face value. But if it's uncirculated, high grade, or has a significant mint error, you could be holding something worth substantially more, potentially hundreds or even thousands of dollars. If you enjoyed this deep dive, give this video a like, subscribe for more coin collecting content, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next one. Drop a comment below if you have a 1966 quarter and want to share what grade it's in, or if you found an error variant. I'd love to hear your coin hunting stories. Thanks for watching, stay curious, and keep flipping those coins. You never know what treasure might be in your pocket change. Until next time, happy collecting!